Shalom, my name is Yehonatan ben Devoy. Now we're going to focus on the command to lift up Hashem's name. What does it mean to lift up Hashem's name to vanity? Sorry. First, let's see the commandment in Hebrew. The English translation is as follows: You shall not lift up the name of Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh, your divine being, to vanity. For Hashem, or actually for Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh, will not purify the one who lifts his name to vanity. All right, there are several applications of this one command. One, do not say his name, because to say it too often is to lift it to vanity, because people hear it too often and they won't think it's special. In fact, another view of this is Yeshua, or most people, as they say it, Jesus. He never once said his name at all. The next application is don't swear falsely by his name. You see, oaths back then were performed by swearing by the greater party's name, essentially. In fact, here in Deuteronomy 10:20, it says the following: you shall fear the Lord thy God, him shalt thou serve, and him you shall cleave, and swear by his name. The usage of that, swear by his name, that is the application given right there. The final application of the word Shem, name, is that it can also mean reputation, which means you're commanded to give supposed acts to lift up Hashem's reputation. In other words, your actions are held to a much more higher standard. To prove this ideal, I'm going to use several passages. In Numbers 6:27, and they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. You see, what does it mean to put his name upon the people group? I mean, does that mean that they get a sticker on his name, or the sticker of his name placed upon them? Come on, they didn't have stickers back then. Ultimately, it means to place the reputation on you. In fact, check this out. In Numbers chapter 20, Hashem forbade Moses from leading the children of Israel into the land because he failed to set Hashem apart, essentially, or make him holy. Essentially, he destroyed Hashem's reputation by not speaking to the rock. In fact, let me read it to you. Numbers 20. And there was no water for the congregation. That's verse 2. And they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron, and the people chode with Moses and spake, saying, Would God that we have died when our brethren died before the Lord? And why have ye brought up the congregation of the Lord into the wilderness, that we and our cattle should die there? And wherefore you have made us come up from Egypt to bring us to an evil place. It has no seeds, nor figs, nor vines, nor pomegranates, neither of it any water to drink. All right, so basically the children of Israel are complaining. And Moses and Aaron went from the presence of the assembly into the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and they fell on their faces, and the esteem of the Lord came upon them. And the Lord said, take the rod and gather the people together, thou Aaron and thy brother, and speak unto the rock before their eyes, and it shall give forth his water, its water actually, and you shall bring forth them water out of the rock, and so shall you give to the children of to the congregation and their beasts drink. Moses took the rod before Yudhevavhe and he commanded as he commanded him, and thus happened. And Moses and Aaron gathered the congregation together before the rock, and he said, hear now, you rebels. Must we fetch you water out of this rock? And Moses lifted up his hand, and with his rod he smote the rock twice, and water came out abundantly, and the congregation drank, and their beasts also. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, because ye believed me not to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel, therefore you shall not bring this congregation into the land that I have given them. Okay, pause. Why is it a requirement to sanctify him in the eyes of the people? And why is it a requirement that it had to be done before the children of Israel? Well, let me explain why it was a requirement. Remember the command to not add or diminish. In Numbers chapter 20, Hashem commanded Moshe to speak to the rock. Moshe did not speak to it. He struck it, so he added and diminished. Instead, Moshe got upset and called them rebels. He had a temper tantrum. Now, what does this have to do with Hashem? Well, remember, we have a command to love our neighbor. Since this is so, Moshe not only had to speak to the rock, but treat the children of Israel nicely. That's why he didn't make Hashem holy. That's why he destroyed the reputation, because Hashem also gave him the leadership to lead Israel out of Egypt. Thus, he was no longer allowed to lead them to lead them into the land as well, because he destroyed the reputation of his God. Take this into consideration. The fact that the prophets speak in the reputation of Hashem, and says the following, Deuteronomy 18:19-20, and it came to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he speaks in my name, I will require it of him. But the prophet who shall presume to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or shall speak in the name of other gods, even that prophet shall die. You see why it's juxtaposed like that? The prophet who speaks in the name of other gods or gives forth a word that Hashem didn't give, that prophet dies. But the other one speaks in the name. Think about what prophets do, ultimately. Prophets are given words from Hashem, and that is what Hashem speaks. The prophets say the word that Hashem spoke. That is all they do. All right? Ultimately, when the prophets spoke the words of Hashem, they were acting as his mouthpiece. Now, because this command came that they were his mouthpiece, and because of the fact that Shem could also mean reputation, they were acting in his character when they gave those words. The populace understood this. So ultimately, the prophets were responsible to give the exact verbiage of the of Hashem, but also not only that, Moses, because of this command, was held to a much more higher standard, essentially, because he led the children of Israel out of Egypt as a result of this command, essentially. Because of these commands, we understand that Shem means reputation. Ultimately, it is our job to partner with Hashem and do his works respectfully. In the next video, I'm going to go over some applications on how to lift up Hashem's reputation. I sure hope this study blesses you. Shalom.